Welcome. I am your host, Dr. Derek A. Reeves, and today we're dealing with our daily Bible study. And so the series that we're on at this present time is Scriptural Wisdom for Life, and we're going to deal with Be Not Conformed. This is our fourth segment in the series, and it is entitled The Need for Transformation. Again, I am your host. Let's dive right into the scripture. We came from Romans 12:2, and again, you'll see me looking at the screen. This is where I posted the scripture so we can be accurate. As you begin to age your mind, you have to continue to do exercise to keep it strong so it can think in the way that it was meant to. Let's dive right into the scripture. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Today we're going to talk about the need to be transformed. We've talked about all of the specificity that it means as far as conformity, suscematizo, pattering after a systemic order, structure, belief system, or value of a particular age. It is important that the church begin to realize that every age of existence of man, there was a basic spirit that was pervasive in that age. And depending on the age, the spirit, and the philosophy and the worldview that could be propagated amongst men, it determined how close individuals became to God, how much they embraced the Word, or how much they became integrated into a society that may or may not have been in affiliation with God. And so Paul writes and says, be not conformed to this world. The term this, it designates then whatever age you live in. Whatever time period you live in, God knows that since the Garden of Eden, the serpent, or many people are alluding to this being maybe another spirit, but we understand that it deals with Satan using someone, orchestrating, or perhaps even integrating himself into them. Because the scripture speaks of the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. And so we can understand that in this regard, it reflects Satan warring, striving, considering the destruction of mankind, or blocking the plan of God. And so he says, be not conformed to this age. What is this? Whichever age you live in, unless it is an age that there is revival, renewal, coming to God. Then he says, be not conformed to this age. And remember, the world, or aeon, doesn't just designate the time, but it designates the times, the philosophies, the considerations, the perspectives that are pervasive within the age that govern perhaps over 90% of the people. Do not be conformed to the age wherein people are losing standards and life has no meaning, and life is good to be collateral damage. Did you know someone always has to determine who is fit to live? And that judgment call cannot be made by man, because all men don't see the ramifications of the choice. Neither can all men see the future, the objectivity, and the functionality of an individual who may be deemed non-essential. And so be not conformed to this age, this world, adhere, but be ye transformed. There can never be non-conformity, and always remember that when you are not conforming to something, you are conforming to something else. Your conformity might be to simply negate every system that's in, and you just choose to be in the void, but you are conforming to something. But Paul says conformity is not enough, because conformity simply means acceptance, and you've chosen to adhere to a system, much like a disciple. To become a disciple of a system, you make that system your own. To become a disciple of a system, you embrace it wholeheartedly, and it becomes a treasure or a value system, and your heart is there to make it work. One of the reasons why people in the church have so many problems in working together is because they're trying to operate in more than one system, and at the time, a specific system seems more important than the system of the ecclesia, or the church, the called out ones, called together in one place to handle the affairs of a free state, which is the city called heaven. And so he speaks of the term transformed. And here when we look at the word transformed, the Koine Greek is the word metamorphao. And I'm doing the classic pronunciation. There are some who pronounce it metamorphoo, but when you study the Greek in this and the Greek context, you'll find out metamorphao. And metamorphao or metamorphou comes from two words. One, meta, which simply means it's a preposition and it denotes an accompaniment, or so it's in the midst of something taking place, in the midst of something that is going on. And so you are following an experience. And it comes from the second word, morphao. Morphao means to fashion or to form. And so transformation, metamorphao, simply means to follow the change, accepting the change, and allowing the change then to restructure the mind, the quality of thinking, the thoughts, the quality of thoughts, the emotive state, the quality of emotions, and the quality of the will. It is the acceptance of an experience that is bringing about a qualitatively new position, a new standard, and a new existence of being. And so there is a need to be changed and to consistently change. The scripture speaks to us of moving from glory to glory, or place of honor to honor, or a place of the presence of God in your life to a higher place. And Paul even writes in one scripture where he says, be steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding in the works of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. And so transformation is not just a conformity. Transformation is a literal change and a shifting in the being and existence, and therefore it shifts how we think. It changes how we feel towards things. It changes how we make decisions and how we allow our volition to be operated within our lives as we journey through this world, this age, and even the physical, materialistic point of the physical, tangible existence. And so the need to be transformed is very important because it brings us into the context where we are further shedding this mortality, we are further shedding this carnality, and we're becoming more and more like Jesus. We are accepting the image of Christ that was birthed in us at the new birth. We are accepting this divine nature that was given to us by so great and precious promises. And so the transformation is the process whereby we now stopped acting, but we become what we were meant to become. See, in many cases, people are going through roles and they have to willfully choose to not do and to do. But the time comes in your life when there is a real conformity to the change and the transformation. There is a real process of metamorpho, where we become what the Scripture says. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. We literally become those who are birthed of the Spirit, and we go through those processes that will designate what level, what type, and what station of sons that we are. I thank you for joining us today. We're all out of time. This is, again, our daily Bible study. We're dealing with scriptural wisdom for life. And in this segment and this series, we are dealing with Be Not Conformed. Again, I am your host, Dr. Derek A. Reeves. I thank you for joining us, and until tomorrow, God bless.